A sports betting story.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to our podcast. Today we have a special guest, Charles, who's going to share his insights into sports betting. Charles, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So, Charles, tell us, how did you get into sports betting?
Well, I've always been a sports enthusiast, and I found that betting on sports added an extra layer of excitement to the games. I started with small bets, just for fun, but over time, I became more serious about it.
What's your routine like when it comes to sports betting?
I usually spend some time researching the teams and players before placing a bet. I look at their past performances, injuries, and other factors that could affect the outcome of the game. I also set a budget and stick to it, to avoid getting carried away.
That sounds like a smart approach. What advice would you give to someone who's thinking about starting sports betting?
I would say, start small and don't bet more than you can afford to lose. It's also important to do your research and not just bet based on gut feeling. And most importantly, know when to stop.
What do you think are the pros and cons of sports betting?
Well, on the one hand, it can add excitement to the games and even be profitable if you're lucky and smart about it. However, it can also be addictive and lead to financial problems if you're not careful.
Have you ever had a particularly disappointing moment in sports betting?
Yes, I have. There was a football match where I bet on the underdog and won a significant amount of money. Instead of calling it a day, I got greedy and bet on another match, hoping to win even more. Unfortunately, I ended up losing everything and then some, trying to chase my losses.
That must have been tough. What did you learn from that experience?
I learned the hard way that greed has no place in sports betting. I strongly believe it's important to set limits and stick to them, no matter how tempting it may be to keep going.
Wise words, Charles. Well, you mentioned that greed has no place in sports betting. Can you elaborate on that?
Absolutely. It's not uncommon to come across people who are addicted to sports betting. They let themselves be fooled by easy money. They are the ones who can't seem to stop, even when they are losing. They chase their losses, hoping to make it all back, but often end up digging themselves into a deeper hole.
That sounds concerning. What do you think drives this addiction?
I do think it's a combination of factors. For some, it's the thrill of the game and the possibility of winning big. For others, it could be a way to escape from their problems or to feel a sense of control. Whatever the reason, it can quickly spiral out of control if not kept in check.
Do you have any advice for those who may be struggling with a gambling addiction?
Yes, seeking help is of utmost importance. There are organizations and support groups that can provide assistance and guidance. It's also important to recognize when gambling is becoming a problem and to take steps to address it before it escalates.
Wise words, Charles. Thank you for sharing your insights with us today.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me. I love talking about sports betting.
And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time for more on sports betting.
Thank you for listening to English Audio Lounge. We hope you have enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more audio stories to improve your listening.